Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, welcome to Dirty Fanatics United. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and comment if you haven't already. Falcon fans, what's going on? This is episode 114, Bounce Back Week, ? As always, I am your host, C Money from DFU. My co-host, Cody, is here with me tonight, and we have a special guest tonight, Falcon fans. Mateo, a diehard Falcon fan, runs his own Falcon group, Dirty Falcon Birds. My guy, Mateo. Mateo, what's going on, bro?
What's up, fellas? What's up? Rise up. You know what it is every day, all day.
Yes, sir. Always. Mateo, a big supporter of DFU. Seen you in the comment section last week. I said it's time to get Mateo back in the live podcast. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Cody, what's going on, man? Pop-up show here tonight on a Thursday. No show tomorrow night. We'll be out looking at Christmas light with the kids, so we moved the podcast to tonight. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Cody, what's going on, man?
Oh, it's about the same old, just trying to get through the week so we could get to Sunday, watch Dirty Birds turning around. So, other than that, man, just working through the week. We're just ready to talk Falcon football again.
There's a bad echo going on. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but there's a bad echo going on. Falcon fans, stick with us here as we try to figure this out. Comment in the comment section from the Sports Nuts. The very first comment of the night says, "What's good, fellas? Hashtag DFU Sports Nuts." What's going on, man? Glad to have you here in the live chat. Hit that like button and share to a Falcon friend that you know that is not a subscriber of DFU. Falcon fans, we did a pop-up show tonight to bring you some Falcon content, and we have to talk about it because to me, this is major. This is major, Cody. Mateo, you obviously watch the Falcons very closely as well. Post the news that the Falcons release, running your own group over on Facebook. The Falcons have officially removed Rook Ohurohu from the IR list. He is officially practicing in Flowery Branch. Mike Hughes, another big aspect of this defense, returning to practice this week. Cody, what does this mean for this team, man? Getting these two players here in the stretch where you desperately need this win. This is where this matters. Tomorrow, Sunday night matters, or Sunday evening matters. You got to have that W Sunday, and you could escape with an L if the Bucs hold an L Sunday. But why hold your faith on another team? Go ahead and secure that W. Cody, what does this mean to possibly have a Rook Ohurohu back in rotation on defense, and also have Mike Hughes back on the field in that secondary, a defense that just had their best performance their whole season? 5 sacks, less than 150 yards in the air. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's less than like 100 yards on the ground, or 50, 60 something yards on the ground. The Falcons showed out after the bye week on defense. Now we'll get to the offense here very shortly, but Cody, big additions here to this defense. Cody, what's this mean, man?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, it means you're getting healthy again, even healthier off the bye week. Well, and that's always a good thing. You can never have enough guys healthy, and that's kind of the battle with the NFL, man. Is you get late into these weeks, and guys are just banged up. That's life in the NFL. It's life as a football player, man. You're never 100%, and teams that find a way to stay healthy or somewhat healthy, tend to make playoff runs. And so the Falcons feel like they're getting healthy. But the big thing for the Falcons here is that it means rotation pieces. It means you get depth back. You get, hopefully a Rook Ohurohu that, is,
starting to come on, Cody. Starting to come on, man.
Absolutely. And so now you get that young guy out there that's hungry, that's missed time, that wants to go out there and be like, damn, my defensive guys just went out and absolutely balled out. I want to be part of that. I want to, and same thing with Hughes, man. I would say it gives you more depth in the back, and it gives you more opportunity to keep other guys healthy, and because you can sit guys, you can rest guys a little bit, throughout the game. So, for the Falcons, it means you get more of an opportunity to keep guys' legs fresh, keep guys fresh, and it brings just another weapon to your defense that you can throw out there to either confuse the Vikings, throw a different look at the Vikings, because Rook does some things better than I'm sure other defensive linemen. He's got the speed, he's young, he's strong. So same thing with Hughes. He does things differently in the secondary than Phillips or Clark Phillips, and does things different than Richie. So it's just another twist that the Vikings have to look at when it's like these two guys are out on the field. So
when you look at, and Mateo, we're coming to you with that same exact question, but when you look at the Vikings offense, when you have a Justin Jefferson on one side and a Jordan Addison on the other side, two potential number one receivers in the NFL on one offense here that you're facing. And I believe the Vikings also have a very decent tight end over on that ball too. So you have a big matchup coming up Sunday. To have that Mike Hughes against maybe a Justin Jefferson from time to time, size-wise, wouldn't be too bad of a matchup. Jordan Addison is the speedster receiver. Maybe see a Clark Phillips match up with somebody like that. But hell, D. Alford back in rotation this last game and looked very, very nice doing so. Mateo, Mike Hughes and Rook Oro, man, officially practicing this week. It's been a long injury report for these two the past month, pretty much, for Mike Hughes and Rook. Troy Anderson starting to practice a little more this week as well. But what does it mean, man, to have a possible Mike Hughes back on this defense that's playing possibly the best ball of his career?
I'd say it's depth. Nothing's wrong with depth in your depth chart. Rotation of players, be able to rest your starters more, have a bigger game plan for a team like that. I was definitely impressed with the defense, holding their own last week, and I feel like any player that's going to step on the field this week will definitely be hyped up to play with the defense. Absolutely. Especially Rook, he's a Clemson guy, just like Grady was. Yep. So, so it's kind of like they do have the hype on the defense. Coming off these losses, we definitely need a bounce back.
Yes.
But I just want to see consistency on both sides together in one game.
Absolutely. Mateo, we preached it on the podcast all season, brother. There's just never been a game this season, even last season, where your offense and your defense both played a good football game. It's always lopsided. It's either offense and defense plays terrible, or defense plays great, offense plays terrible. But real quick, man, shout out to Preston Sapp in the chat. Shout out to the big brother. He says, rise up. Them birds have to get it together against the Vikings. Absolutely. This is a must game Sunday. Abno in the chat, he said, we don't hear the echo. Good, long as y'all don't hear it. I have something going on in my headset. Could just be me. But Cody, Mateo, y'all hear an echo, or is it just me?
No, I got nothing.
Just me. 10-4, man. I got a cool stat, man. I want to bring it up because this was a guy that I had a lot of weighing in on this offseason. A guy, Cody, we talked about multiple times here on the podcast about how if he didn't fit in with this defense, if he didn't start clicking here for this defense, maybe it was time for this guy to step away and find somewhere else to play. The Atlanta Bird Gang, shout out to Atlanta Bird Gang. They released a post today. It says Pro Football Focus has the Atlanta Falcons defense ranked as the 25th best defensive line in the NFL, currently with Arnold Ebiketie as the highest ranked player. Arnold AK is playing decent football this year, guys. Arnold AK has got some sacks this year. He's been in the backfield. He's got some pressure. You speak about this high performance that this defense just had. It don't start overnight. AK has played good football all year, and now maybe after this bye week, from what I've heard from 92.9 The Game, Cody, our friendly friends over there from that station, they said that from rumors have it that Raheem Morris has maybe even stepped in to help call the defensive play style. So maybe, just maybe, this defense has figured it out after the bye week. This is huge for the Atlanta Falcons trying to make this playoff push because, guys, I look at the Buccaneers' last remaining schedule. They have, I don't know this in exactly order, but they had the Las Vegas Raiders, they had the Chargers, I believe they had the Saints, they had the Giants, and they had the Panthers. I believe that's correct. They have 5 games left. Very, very easy schedule other than the Chargers game. But then again, the Buccaneers, man, they could lose to the Panthers. It was a very close game in overtime with the Panthers. Falcons have held their faith all season. So what changes now? Nothing. Go win the fucking football game and get into the playoffs. That's the only way that you earn that playoff spot is you got to win, and this is how it is. Abno in the chat with it said, Kirk just better realize that flame is under his ass this Sunday. Let's talk about it because we mentioned it last podcast, Cody. This Sunday would be major for the continuation of Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Cody, There was a stat that was going around that said Kirk Cousins plays phenomenal against his ex-football teams. Cody, is this bounce back week for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something me and Mateo were talking about before we got on live. It just kind of feels like this is one of those games where Kirk just goes stupid crazy good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here. I was joking. I was talking to Mateo earlier about 7 touchdowns, 700 yards. But I mean, it's. I mean, wouldn't that be the Falcon way? Doesn't that just seem something that very Falcon? You come off of three terrible losses, and then all of a sudden Kirk Cousins, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, just something ridiculous. And I just feel like that it may not be that gaudy and it may not be that, but could I see 3 touchdowns, 350 yards? Absolutely. We've
got to have Cody. That first drive, offense has got to have a passing touchdown. We've got to get Kirk out of this funk. We've got to get away from the interceptions. We've got to get a passing touchdown to the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Kirk is a competitor and, nobody wants to go back, where you came from against your former team and absolutely lay a goose egg. You don't want to do that. And I think Kirk, hopefully, his shoulder or his elbow or whatever was listed, last week isn't still bothering him. If in fact that played a little bit of a factor, to the interceptions this past week, that's gotten sorted out and fixed. For sure. So, but I expect Kirk Cousins to bounce back in a big way this week.
I absolutely hope so. Mateo, what do you think, man? Your thoughts on the Sunday? If Kirk Cousins has another 2 interception game, 2+ interception game, you end up losing this game because of a costly interception. Mateo, what's the move next week? If it's a close, this is where I ask you this, because this is where Falcon fans are going to want to know this, because Falcon fans have been talking on Facebook, Twitter, all these other websites. But the Falcons, a lot of people do, and it is what it is. But if Kirk Cousins has a 2 interception game, all right, he loses the game because of interception, but it's a close matchup with a 10-2 team. Very, very close matchup. You lose it by a field goal because of the interception. Is Kirk Cousins benched next week because of a costly interception that's lost you now 4 games in a row? That's a tough question.
If I'm Raheem, I'm not benching Kirk the rest of the year until something terrible happens.
So you're eliminated.
Yeah, elimination or possible injury. Praying that doesn't happen.
Right.
But, that's the only way I'm benching Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
To be honest, like everybody wants the Penix, to see if it's going to be a change, but it's not like Kirk hasn't shown.
Oh, he's balled the hell out this season.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like it's not like he's not ranked up in like the top 5, passing yards, isn't he? The interceptions got to cut down. But I'd say this week he does bounce back. He shows something just because I feel he will have the hype on the Atlanta side and the Minnesota fan side, because he's been Minnesota Viking for a while.
Well,
so I feel he will have that.
I was listening to Big Low and he talked about walking back into Minnesota after that L, after taking that L, and then you walk back in Minnesota, a place that's winning right now, a place that's 10-2 with a Sam Darnold. After Kirk Cousins walks out the door for the bigger paycheck with the Atlanta Falcons, and having the season he's having, 6-6 walking into Minnesota. Will the emotions be too high for Kirk Cousins in the Minnesota stadium? The question is, can the O-line block in that rowdy stadium? Because it's going to be loud.
It is.
It's going to be hellacious in Minnesota. Cody, your thoughts on the offensive line not giving up any sacks last week against Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, a top pressure rating defensive line. Your Falcons give up 0 sacks. Cody, can they handle the pressure in Minnesota? Because if I'm wrong, let me know, but it was 4 years ago the Falcons walked in Minnesota and planted a goose egg down in the red zone first snap of the play.
Yeah, no, a couple of years ago, I know what you're talking about because, me and Mom went to Mercedes-Benz and they had a little watch party for that. And that was a rough game, man. It was
opening day, I believe.
Yeah, it was either week 1 or week 2. And we went there and just absolutely sucked. But, I do think that this offensive line can hold their own, and they've proven that they can hold their own. Last week, up against some of the tougher defensive players in the NFL, and they gave up, 0 they gave up 0 sacks. You've got to continue doing that. This offensive line has proved that if you that they can establish the run game and make things easier for themselves, and they'll continue to do that. They're if I'm not mistaken, I think they're top 10 offensive line in the NFL. And there's a reason for that. It's a close group. We're getting healthy. We're getting, Dahlman came back last week. So now he's got that one game.
We have a rare sighting in the comment section.
Oh, what do we got?
There's a falcon in the comment section, like an actual falcon, like a bird. Joseph Anthony in the chat with it. Shout out to Joseph Anthony, the Rise Up King. Shout out to Joseph Anthony. Cody, continue on, brother.
But yes, sir. I was going to say there's no reason that this offensive line can't continue to have the success that they've had. But again, can Zach Robinson get out of his own way and get this run game established? I think that's going to be a huge thing when you play in Minnesota. Can you get your offensive line and your run game comfortable to where when it is time to throw the football, that you can give Kirk time to go do what he does? We've seen it, against a really good Tampa Bay defense, and Kirk had time to absolutely carve them up for 8 touchdowns combined in the 2 games and 500, almost 500 yards passing in both of them, so there's no reason that this offensive line, especially since they're getting healthy, you get Dahlman back. Now you've got, again, like to Mateo's point, depth is never a bad thing. You get Dahlman back, and everybody, as far as I've seen, the offensive line is staying healthy, and that's huge. So absolutely believe in this offensive line.
Let me tell you, this question goes to you because it's been rotating around the universe for a while about these Atlanta Falcons. They claimed after the bye week there would be a lot more play action that was ran, but it seemed like to me Sunday the pistol was the formation the Falcons seemed to rely on a lot.
I hate it.
Do the Falcons find a different scheme this week? Does Zach Robinson dial something up to get this W against a pretty decent defense over in Minnesota?
Yeah, I say with all your starters healthy, you definitely have to have a game plan. More of a offensive mind, coming into the game. Like when he was with the Rams, I felt like he kind of ran like a Patriots kind of game plan with more of a run style. And, because they didn't have like a top receiver. They had not Wes Welker. What is the wide receiver's name? Yeah.
Oh, what is his name? Cooper Kupp. Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they kind of ran the Patriots style ball. See, in Atlanta, we have the hype of, we got a first round draft pick wide receiver. We got a first round draft pick tight end. So everybody feels like we got to be that explosive team.
You know what's even crazier, Mateo? I'm bad about this because I'm very ADHD, but you said Kyle Pitts, the first round tight end. You know who the Falcons could have drafted directly after Kyle Pitts?
Yep.
Jamar Chase. Just saying. Yep. Continue on, Mateo. Just saying.
But yeah, true. But it's more. See, I don't get hype off the draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Me either.
I feel a draft pick could come in and be a bust. Look at Tyler Algier. This man was a 5th round and came out and broke 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? So it's more the schemes you run, the consistency in coaching. You can't be like, we're going to run majority this week, and then next week we're just going to switch up the whole fucking game plan,
right? And
just run I-form or fucking pistol. Like, it's like that throws players off too. You got to be consistent with coaching. You got to have one game plan, one kind of mental. And I feel like this is their first year, so I feel like it is like more of a test for everybody. It's kind of like Arthur Smith's first year.
You have that with first-year offensive coordinators. Zach Robinson never running an offense in the NFL. Then you have Raheem Morris, his second time head coach in the NFL now for Raheem Morris. So, yeah, you're right. A lot of this shit is new, but now you have a team that, as you stated just then, that you have all these first-round picks, these top 4 picks that you've had the last 3 years with Arthur Smith. Same GM, Terry. You walk in the building, you hire Raheem Morris. Terry was definitely part of that hiring process. So you have these guys that come in the building. Can they get it right? This question here from Carlton Bunch, can they get offense and defense on the same page? If offense can play any near what defense played last week, the Falcons could be unstoppable. If the Falcons score on every turnover that the Falcons defense made last Sunday, the Falcons win that game. And if they also just make a touchdown off of 2 of the 3 stops in the fourth quarter, the Falcons win that game. So offense has got to figure it out. Just like Joseph Anthony says here in the chat, the offense need to catch up. Absolutely. Carlton Bunch says Algier need to get the ball more. I get it, but when you got Bijan that's just cutting and dicing, and I mean, Algier is a dog himself, but Zach Robinson has to figure out how to use both of them because he has yet to do that in week 14.
Right. Well, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mateo.
I think, in my personal opinion, I would use Tyler Algier as a fullback and just run double backs. He's big enough to block.
Do it at the same time.
He's low to the ground, so he can actually be a good blocker. And it would just like psych out defenses, like because you have a dude that can run straight up the middle and a bowling ball, and then because Bijan's best game is truly on the outside. The inside, he's not so great,
right?
Unless we're creating holes.
You see that on 3rd and 1 all the time.
Yeah, so their game, kind of like what they're comfortable with. The coaches just need to get along with their kind of style of play. Mm-hmm. Like with Kyle Pitts, I feel like everybody's down in Kyle Pitts, and like he does need to redeem himself, but switch it up, make him a wide receiver. Like let him play wide receiver more. I feel like him coming off of pass rushes and pass blocks and stuff, it doesn't give him that leverage to be the unicorn that everybody claims him to be.
Right.
So they definitely need to switch up something.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
Consistency is key.
You haven't scored over 20 points. Cody mentioned this on the last podcast. How many weeks, Cody, since the Falcons have scored over 21 points?
I'll say this is three weeks in a row. The last time you scored close to 30 was the Dallas Cowboy game.
I did see a post, though. It's crazy. Like it was a post about the Bengals. The Bengals are like first in pass yards, first in pass rushing, but they're 4-10. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so consistency is key in this pro game, man. And you definitely got to have it on both sides of the ball. And we've been lacking that for years. Like, like for years.
It's tough. I seen a post on Twitter today. Somebody said, what takes a franchise to win multiple years, to have these records years after year after year? And I was reading the comments, but to me, we'll start with Cody and then we'll rotate around. Cody, how do you have a franchise that wins Super Bowl after Super Bowl? You continue to win after every season, like Mike Tomlin, a coach that's never had a losing season in the NFL. What would it take for the Falcons to get to that point? I mean, how do you become that type of team? Because the Falcons have struggled for years.
Well, to Mateo's point, it's consistency, man. That's where it all starts, and it starts with your coaching. With coaching, the Falcons haven't had, I feel like that. I think that's really kind of been one of the Falcons' things is there's just not consistency, even starting in the coaching regimes. Think about it. Matt Ryan had a new offensive coordinator average over. I think he averaged about a new coordinator every 2 years. But thank God but thank God Matt Ryan was who he was, and he had the ability to adapt. But I mean, think about that first season with Kyle Shanahan. What a train wreck 2015 was. Like you start out great, and then you lose 6 in a row or whatever it was, and the 2015 falls apart. Mm-hmm. But it seems to be no consistency. It seems like you get guys in, you have Kyle Shanahan for 2 years. Then you have Steve Sarkisian for 2 years and gone. Mike Mularkey for
Steve
2
was
years.
one. If I'm right, I think Steve Sarkisian took us to the playoffs in year one, and they booted him.
Man, I like Sark. I ain't gonna lie.
He was okay.
I wanted Sark to continue with us for real.
Well, and and the thing like with Dan Quinn, like I understand that he kind of lost the locker room. Really kind of after that 17 season, you get back into 18 and it's just kind of god awful. Mm-hmm. But, again, so you had one bad year, but you also had a year that you were in the Super Bowl. Then you went back, you're one game away from going back. And then, he has one bad year and he's out the door. And I understand the NFL stands for not for long, but at some point, you have to give these guys time to reset and rebuild. When you're moving pieces in and out constantly. I mean, look at the Patriots, they were really good about being, Brady was really good about, being team friendly and stuff like that. But it was consistent from top to bottom with coaching staff. I mean, they would switch out, but they would switch out offensive coordinators, and it helps that you have Tom Brady, as much as I hate to say that. But, how long was Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator there in New England? It was forever.
Mm-hmm.
He was there forever. They were able to keep guys around. And so when other players, there was just an expectation. And that's one thing that I think the Falcons as a team lack is you don't ever really, I mean, obviously the expectation is, go win Super Bowl, go win football games. That's always the expectations. But when you're getting new guys in that are like, hey, practice starts at 5:30 today. Well, Coach Raw does them at 6:30. There's no routine there for the players, and there's no consistency to back it up. And, you just never know, man. But it's tough. I mean, the football, that's a great thing about the NFL, and why I think it's, the number one sport, here in America, is because there is so much parity. Every year there's at least 5 teams new in the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
And so
the Falcons were training to be that team, Cody. Yeah. And Cody, you speaking on the playoffs, I just scrolled past this, and it was a topic for tonight, and it brings it up perfectly. Cody, you remember at one point the Falcons were above an 85% chance for the playoffs in the NFC South?
Yeah, now we're at like 58?
The Falcons now sit at 52.5%. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers now are officially ahead of us at 59.1%.
Right.
You still own the division. You still have the lead, but they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers higher than you because they have the easier schedule.
Yeah.
Falcon fans, you do not want that last game of the season in Charlotte to fucking count. You do not want that. You do not want that last game to determine whether or not you make it into the playoffs. That is not the vibe that you want. Now you're going to walk into Charlotte and lay a fucking goose egg, because the last 3 years in Charlotte has not been happy. And that's just being dead ass. So you do not want to wait to the last game of the season to clinch that playoff spot.
No, you don't. And, again, it comes down to this at the end of the day, man, this is what counts. You did your job as far as taking care of Tampa Bay. I mean, if you were going to sweep a team in the NFC South this year, it needed to be them, because we knew it was going to come down to us and them at the end of the season. Like, let's not kid ourselves. We knew it was going to be a 2-team race between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and our Atlanta Falcons. So you handled your business against Tampa Bay. You've got 5 games left. Go handle your business. So go win football games. That's all you got to do. I know that's hard, but
could you agree with Carlton's comment though? Like right here, he says this next game is going to be make it or break it. They got to win and carry out some energy to carry out the rest of the season. Cody, if you lose Sunday, it's not looking pretty, dude.
No, and that's the thing is my thing coming off the bye. My thought was you need to be winners of 4. I think you needed to be including the San Diego game.
You needed to at least lose 2 and win the rest, 3-2.
That's right. You needed to be 4-2 by at the end of at the end of the season. So to lose 2, to lose your 2 back to back, that's not good. You don't want to do that, because now that means you got to go steal 1 from Washington if you lose against. But, the good news about that is Washington has been super wishy-washy, and you don't know who they're going to be. Now, you know who the Raiders are going to be. They're god-awful. They're not. That's a team that you should go to Vegas and beat.
Those trap games that worry me. That trap game with the Raiders, and then that trap game with the Giants, and then really the trap game with the Panthers. I hate all 3 of those matchups.
Right. Well, and it's. I think that's kind of the trauma as Falcon fans is like, we feel like they're trap games because those are games that we've lost in the past, we've absolutely lost in the past. So it's one of those things is like, I agree with you, because it's one of those things is like, do I feel 100% confident that we're going to go in there and steamroll the Giants and steamroll Carolina?
No, because you haven't done that to a team all year.
Right. Nobody. And that's the thing. Now, do I think we're going to lose those teams? I don't. But my biggest worry right now are the 2 games that I've absolutely got circled, highlighted, exclamation points on it is you have to take one from either Minnesota or you have to take one from Washington. You just do. The other 3, I think that you may not steamroll them like we wish we would, that they go in there, blow them out 35-3, 35, 17. But those teams, obviously you can't sleep on anybody in the NFL, any given Sunday.
Yep.
But I like our odds a lot better if you wind up taking one if just win this Sunday. And that
like
and
the track that the season was headed, I was for sure that the Atlanta Falcons would have a playoff spot clinched by week 15. Like I was for sure the Falcons would have the NFC lockdown by week 15, and last game of the season, preferably Michael Penix be quarterback, because you were 3 games up. Now you're a tiebreaker up. Like, what the fuck? Falcons, we got to get it right. Sunday it starts, man. Mateo, we're sitting here. You had to leave. We were sitting here talking about the fact that if you wait till last week to clinch this NFC South spot, it could be bad.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to keep your hopes on your division rivals losing like we've been doing. Like, that's the tiresome part. It's like, we lost, but then our rivals lose, and we're like, oh, well, we're still in first place, but by a slim margin, you know, like, which we should be ahead, like, a lot. Like, the Saints game, terrible. Like, I can understand the Broncos. The Broncos were a hot team, you know, coming out, Bo Nix, everything. But then that makes you question. It's like everybody was like, oh, well, we could have had Bo Nix instead of Michael Penix, you know, and performing and blah, blah, blah. So everybody talks in the NFL. I just feel like the coaching definitely needs to get it together, come up with one consistent game plan. I know different teams that we're going to play against run different schemes, but in a way, I just don't want this to fall down all on Raheem. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been here before.
Like,
yeah, he's been here before. And like the crazy thing is when he was intermediate head coach, whatever, when he got put in place, like he was doing a good job. He like literally showed effort.
Started winning games. His first game was a dub.
But it is also questionable, like when you go from Arthur Smith doing 7-10 3 years consistently with different quarterbacks, with a different run game every year, with, you know, inconsistency in players. It's like now we have our players set. Okay. We have our players that are set for years under rookie contracts, 5-year contracts, whatever their contracts are. But now it's just time to put it
together
to plan, you know, like
absolutely.
Because that was the biggest question in the offseason when we hired Raheem. Everybody was like, well, there was Eric, the guy from Kansas
Eric
City,
Bieniemy.
you know,
just got released
you know,
from UCLA, actually.
Fucking
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick, you know, like a different coach. Like you could even try to go for one of the Harbaugh brother. You know, it's like, but now you pick somebody that knows the Falcons. You know, so that's what you roll with. But now it's time to put it on the field, man. It's like it's time to prove it, man. Like that's why I say this year I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like I can see a playoff run, but nothing deeper than that, honestly, with this team. But it's more, we just want to be a dominant team, and we haven't seen dominance in forever, you know, on anything. Like Matt Ryan's last year was, you know,
rough.
I kind of wish we could get that back. You know, for real. Like, absolutely. So, but yeah, I feel like this Sunday, you got to have a game plan together. The defense needs to do what they did last week, and I feel Kirk just needs to shake off that rust or whatever is going on with Kirk, because this is that big question mark game right here. Because this is the team you came from.
This is it right here. I mean, that's just my perspective.
If you perform badly, you're going to get crucified by the NFL and let alone Falcon fans, because all they see now is like, oh damn, they just paid Matt Ryan 2.0, or you know, the Temu Matt Ryan. That's all they're gonna think. Like
Temu Matt Ryan.
You know, that's all they're gonna really think. Like that's all they're gonna think. And it's more like, okay, now we need to go to a different game plan. Like we got a new regime. It's like we don't want to consistently come into a new regime and keep losing and be in the sorry face of the fucking NFL, and especially the South. Like
absolutely. Like, you got to win the South. So South's a bad division right now anyway. You've got to take the South.
That too.
Because it's been bad the past few years.
Well, and the other thing is too, though, is this shouldn't fall just on Raheem. I mean, this really, the first half of our struggles was Jimmy Lake and the god-awful defense that he's running. And then you got to lay a lot of it on Zach Robinson because –
But here's the thing with me, Cody. Here's the thing with me, and I'm not blaming Coach Rao because I support Coach Rao 100%. But here's my thing with this. Zach, when Raheem Morris came in here, man, he had the free slate of picking out these offense coordinators, this defensive coordinator. And he went with people he went with people that he knew, the chemistry that he knew. And we thought that maybe this could be something good. He knows people that he's familiar with. We can get a chemistry going in the building. We can make something happen with this three-way chemistry. They all three know each other. But when you have people you have offense coordinators that are out there that are available, that's coached in the NFL, that's been with NFL teams, but you passed up on it because you
Super Bowl champion coaches. Shit.
You went with Zach Robinson. You went with Zach Robinson because he was the friendlier pick, and it is what it is. Maybe I really think Zach Robinson can be special. I think he can be a nice coordinator because he's had games. You don't have a quarterback throw for 500 yards unless you're a good coordinator. Right. That's just simple facts.
Well,
so there's definitely talent there, but he's got to unlock it. He's got to figure it out.
Right, and I think once he truly figures out how to use Bijan and Tyler at the same time, that's going to be huge for him. But, that's the thing that we got to remember, too, as Falcon fans. This is the first year, and even as good as Kyle Shanahan was the second year, that first year was rough. And it is going to take time. It doesn't matter how friendly you are towards each other, how well you know each other. All that chemistry comes with time, and that's what it's going to take is this team playing together in time. And that's why I think you've got to be patient with, Kirk Cousins' struggles, and you've got to be patient with the Zach Robinson, where you're sitting back there going, oh, well, shit, here comes Tyler. We know where the ball's going. He's got to eventually figure that out. It seems like Jamie Lake took that second step, after the bye week and kind of figured it out. And maybe it did take Coach Raw coming in and stepping in and being like, okay, well, I see what you're trying to do. It's clearly not working. So this is what I need you to do from here on out. So like I said, I don't think you can put all the blame on Coach Raw because it is, yes, it is his staff. Yes, he did pick these guys out. But again, I think we were kind of spoiled with so much, early success this season that we were like, man, because I know I was on the hype train and was like, we played Kansas City tough. You beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I mean, I was feeling it, man. Absolutely feeling it. So,
I think you smacked the Cowboys the way you did.
Yeah, right? You smacked the Cowboys. And so it's just like, I think it's just one of those things is
growing pains.
Think this is exactly, that's exactly it. It's just kind of the growing pains that we're starting to get, I don't know. I wish I had the answers, and I'm trying to, use, what I've experienced, being a Falcon fan, from playing the game and doing all these things. It's just not easy. It just isn't. But the thing that bothers me a lot, and I sent the article to you over over our group chat is if players are hurt, why are we playing them?
Yep.
Because that
the day of the game, man. Yeah. Why is Koo on the field?
Yeah, if he's hurt, we don't need to be playing players. I understand that you're trying to make a playoff push.
Cody, speaking of that, they just released a kicker. They released Riley Patterson.
Did they release him?
December 3rd. So I guess Koo is 100% now.
I hope so because it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Like don't get me wrong. I was to say I'm the biggest Koo defender on the podcast, and I'll continue to defend him, but. He doesn't feel healthy. He doesn't look healthy to me sometimes when he's kicking. I don't know. Maybe you guys see it a little bit different when you're watching on TV, but watching him at the bins, it almost looked like he's kicking the ball sideways.
Yeah, he is. Because it looks like he is.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's because of the hip and the way he's coming at, but it's the same thing. Like if Kirk Cousins wasn't healthy that game against San Diego, you brought up the excellent point in the stat. He was the only quarterback not to throw the ball for over 32 miles an hour.
Hey, and that was actually not only that week, but in NFL history, no quarterback's ever thrown for under 32 miles an hour. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. So if he's hurt and in the fourth quarter when it's getting to crunch time and he's hurt, I understand that Kirk's a competitor. I understand that Koo's a competitor, but sometimes you have to protect these guys from themselves. Yeah. And sometimes it's okay to tell guys, look, I appreciate the effort. I appreciate where your heart's at. That's exactly it. I understand. I appreciate where you're coming from for the team, but right now, Michael Penix isn't hurt. So Kirk, you're going to have to sit down for the next 15 minutes and let him do it. Koo, I understand that, you've won games for us, but your hip's hurting and you're kicking the ball, sideways. We're going to have to let this guy
Teams
come
do
in.
it all the time.
Yeah, you've
Teams
got to
do it all
do
the time.
that stuff. So
let me rephrase that stat line because I announced that wrong. Kirk Cousins was the only quarterback to not reach a 32-mile-per-hour pass. Not all passes in the NFL are over 32 miles an hour, but he was the only one to not reach a 32-mile-per-hour pass in a game. So, I mean, yeah, it's very worrisome when you have stuff like that, and it's like, well, if he's hurt and coach sees he's hurt, then you look at it and you're like, well, does coach have no trust at all in Penix? You know what I mean? Like, if Kirk's hurt,
to draft him high,
and to draft him high, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's like, it's not like you're putting in a Taylor Heineke. You're putting in your first round pick,
your future possibly, yeah. Well, and I don't know. To Mateo's point, I mean, but you did pay Kirk Cousins $180 million to win you football games, and so is that what you're basing your decision off of? But you have to be, as a coach, smart enough to go, yeah, I understand that we just paid this guy, enough.
But let's keep him healthy for the rest of the contract.
Exactly, because you've got him for at least. I don't think Kirk's going anywhere. I know there were trade rumors and all this stuff.
I think the only way you see a trade in Atlanta with Kirk Cousins is if they actually do bench Kirk this season.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're not going to see Kirk traded.
No,
I don't think.
No, and like I say, I think Kirk's going to be okay. I think he bounces back this week.
Unless you got a team like the Raiders that are calling and they're wanting to give up the fucking farm for Kirk Cousins,
right?
Or if he makes a playoff run, I think
regardless he has to.
We get the phones ringing to be
to approve of that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I
don't. Whatever team trades for him is going to have to carry on that contract. So I mean,
absolutely.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I don't see it happening, but I mean, if a team's willing that thinks they just need a quarterback, maybe. But I think Penix is your quarterback at least for 2 years in Atlanta. At least for 2 years, and maybe in the second year, that's where you see the Michael Penix transition. Who knows? But I don't think now that I'm looking at the season, and this is not a knock at Kirk Cousins, but I don't think now it'll be projected that Michael Penix doesn't start till 2027. Remember that projection at the end of the year? Michael Penix doesn't start until 2027. I don't think that happens.
No, I thought that was kind of silly anyways. I think Kirk is, I've said it on here. I think that Kirk's got this year, next year, and possibly what would that be, 20, maybe 26, because I kind of feel like 26, that's that'll make Kirk 30. I think he's 37 now, so make him 30, 40 years. And that's kind of where I think you kind of see him hand off the reins is in that 26 year or 2026 season, more so than 27. But I mean, who knows? I mean, for all as we know, Kirk goes out there and absolutely sucks in Minnesota, and we see Penix take over for.
And I hope that's not the case because
no.
You want to see the Falcons win. And just because fans want to see Penix, man, you still got to root the guy on. We still got to support him. He's still the quarterback behind the center. No matter who lines up behind that center, this guy's going to rep them because, I mean, it's their job to go out and try to win games. And it's the coach's job to do their job as well. And it's our job to be fans. So that's just how it is right now. The Falcons have got to win. And it's not pretty right now. I wish we could come on here and be like, I wish the title could be Falcons are flying high. We don't need a bounce back week. But now we're here at episode 114, and it's bounce back week. Week 14 in the NFL. So, I mean, it's not a pretty episode right now. Maybe the next season, which starts Sunday, that'll be a good episode. So we'll see what happens, man. Episode 114, man. Hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Cody, before we get up out of here, man, give me some shout-outs for tonight. We've hit our 44 mark on the episode 114. DFU fans, expect DFU to go live Sunday. What time's the game? 1 o'clock, right?
Should be 1 o'clock game, yeah.
It's at 1, so DFU will be live at 12. So y'all tune in with us at 12 and talk some Falcon football. We'll give you a pregame of Minnesota versus the Falcons. Cody, shout-outs for tonight, brother.
Yeah, shout out to you guys coming on and do a pop-up show. Mateo, it's great to, finally get us, talk to you in person. We exchanged a little bit on Facebook, but it's good to talk to you in person for a change. So, Hey, next time you're at the Mercedes-Benz, I saw that you were at the Benz one day, and I was like, man,
I loved it.
I I was like, man, I should, but I was so hyped up after that game, I totally spaced it. But so shout out to you too for coming on Tucker Dirty Bird Football. I always love it. Shout out to my beautiful wife sitting out there listening. I could hear the TV through the wall. So thank you to her for listening to me talk Falcon football.
Getting them views up, baby. Getting them views up.
That's right. But always shout out to the Falcons. Guys, just go handle your business. That's all you got to do. You took care of business against Tampa Bay. You're in control. Like, regardless, guys, that's one thing that we got to remember. Yeah, things suck right now. Yeah, we're on a 3-game skid. Yes, we're a tiebreak up, and that's it. But all you got to do is go handle your business Sunday. Handle your business on Sundays, and you'll be all right. We still control it. Don't give up that control. I don't care if it's by an inch or by a mile. If we got to play Carolina and it means something, go handle business. I don't want it to come down to that, but go handle business. I'll be here all, tooth and, scratch a tooth and nail, as a fan.
Cody, if it comes down to the Carolina game, I'm going to make a stop in Atlanta and we're headed to Charlotte because we got to be there for that.
It's you're at home. That
one is home. That one is home. That's right.
Home game.
I'm there. I'm there.
So,
count me there. I'm there. I don't care.
We'll be waiting for you there, buddy. I'll say, but other than that, guys, it's been great talking Falcon football with you. I'll say, always rise up.
Real quick, man. Shout out to Jack Spade from One Time for the Fans. Said, "What's up, y'all? Stay blessed. Remain positive. The Falcons will win the division. Off to Minnesota in the morning. Y'all stay warm. Jack,
you stay warm.
Get them, dog. You better stay warm, man. Take a blanket.
17 degrees out there right now.
Don't be smoking on no radio up there. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Shout out to Jack Spade, man. My One Time for the Fan, Mr. Jack Spade, man. Hit that like button. Check him out on YouTube. Falcon fans, man. Shout out to Mateo for coming through tonight. Mateo, shout outs for tonight, brother. Glad to have you here on episode 115.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to DFU. Always good podcast. I always tune in, Cody, Chase. Shout out to Phil not being here,
Yeah, Phil took off day. He ain't getting paid.
But shout out to our Falcons, get it together, boys. We're still cheering you on because shit, I got your logo tatted on me, so it's for life.
Yes,
no matter who's the quarterback, no matter who's the coach, no matter who's the owner. Shit.
Right.
Anyway, if I could say my prediction, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I say we beat Minnesota, and then in a weird prediction, I think we lose to the Raiders.
That's me. That's me too. I mean, I feel the same.
And then we go on a 3-game winning streak with the Giants,
Falcons are flying high,
Washington, and the Panthers. Just because I say that is because this year, the majority of our losses came from AFC teams.
Yep.
So, it could be that way, but I'm hoping if we could win out, that'd be even better. Shit, 11 and fucking 5, 11 and 7, 6. I love it, but let's just hope they get it together. Kirk, you definitely got to prove it this week. The reason why we signed you, you got to show out in Minnesota for the old Minnesota fans and the new Atlanta fans. So I think this could be a dominant game. This will be like that one that shocks people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, damn, they just come out and we're playing in Minnesota, right? It's a away game.
Yeah. Jack Space says, "Nah, fam, we win Sunday." That's what Mateo's saying. We win Sunday, but he thinks we lose to the Raiders. He said probably be against the Commanders. It could be. Jack Space says Bucks losing to the Cowboys, Panthers, and Chargers. Hey, that's the Christmas wish list right here for Falcon fans. If the Bucks can lose 3 out of the last 5, the Falcons are definite playoffs. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see it, man. Falcon fans, thank you for coming through tonight for DFU, man. Hit that like button, share the podcast, hit the comment section. Real quick, shout out to my guy Cody for coming through tonight. My boy Mateo from Dirty Falcon. Hey, real quick, man, plug him in. Let them know where to find you at on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Facebook, I do have a Falcons personal page. I do post videos, game content, all different kinds of content on there. It's Dirty Falcon Birds. Been running it for maybe a year and a half now. Up to about 1,000 followers, maybe 800 likes. So I'm definitely trying to get it up there in numbers. And anytime I'm always down to talk on podcasts, even Jack Spade's podcast, I'm ready to get on yours too. So I'm always down to talk Falcon football, man. Win, lose, tie. it's for life, man. So
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Mateo, a diehard Falcon fan. Y'all check him out on Facebook, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Hey, and D, if you were still doing the Christmas for calls, man, hit me up in the inbox. Let me know of a family in need this Christmas. We will be sure to cater a present, supper, whatever it may be, man. Hit me up in the inbox section. Falcon fans, once again, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. It's your boy Chase, Cody, and Mateo from DFU. We up out of here. Rise up, A-Town down.
rise up.
Peace.